Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new Call of Duty Vanguard video. So we actually have some leaked gameplay details for the multiplayer side of the game. Recently, as you guys know, Sledgehammer Games did announce that they will be revealing details on the game soon. So the reveal is imminent. Obviously, recently we have had this massive lawsuit against Activision and I may make a video on that in the future. And I do wonder whether that is going to affect the reveal for the game, just because Activision's social media is being absolutely spammed right now, so if they do reveal the game, I'm sure they're going to get a lot of heat. At the same time though, it is typical Activision fashion to try and just brush everything under the rug, and maybe they feel like if they reveal a bunch of new information, it's going to make people forget about it. Anyways, before I get into the new information, I just want to recap everything that we know on Vanguard thus far, because to be honest, I think this might be the least leaked Call of Duty game ever by July. Usually we have a lot more leaks by now, so the majority of the leaks that we have thus far are coming from Tom Henderson and the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost over on Twitter. So a while ago, the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost did say that he has seen some footage of Call of Duty Vanguard already, and he saw some World War II uniformed soldiers. There was the Kar 98 present, but it was using Modern Warfare's asset for it. That could just be a placeholder. We're not exactly sure how old of a build Modern Warfare 2 Ghost saw. He said that he saw some sort of World War II trench-like shotgun, Molotovs, and the map they were playing on looked as if it was set within an African palace. He said that the HUD looked very reminiscent of World at Wars. So yeah, I wonder, because Sledgehammer Games' last Call of Duty World War II, received a lot of flack, that they might try and go for a more similar style to World at War by Treyarch way back in the day. That is regarded of one of the creepiest Call of Duties ever, and I think they got the tone of World War II absolutely right in that game, whereas Call of Duty World War II by Sledgehammer Games really missed the mark, in my own personal opinion. The other leaks that we have is, according to the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost, there is planned to be a remake of London Docks from World War II again, that's probably going to release in Season 1 or 2. Of course, everything is subject to change and or misinterpretation that I am discussing. I'm simply just reporting on these rumours that are being tossed around in the community. Honestly, I wouldn't mind to see some World War II maps back. The maps weren't exactly awful in World War II. There were some good ones. I think the main issues were some of the other stuff with the regiments, at least pre-overhaul. He has also hinted that there is going to be a remake of Terminal coming to the game from the Modern Warfare franchise, and I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work. A lot of people are expecting a Terminal remake to be in the Modern Warfare sequel in 2022, so I'm not sure if they're just going to have Terminal in both games, because a lot of people were expecting it in last year's Modern Warfare as well, and we never saw it. And yeah, it would be a bit weird to see Terminal inside of a World War II game, especially because airports weren't as developed in the 1940s and stuff like that, so I don't know exactly how that would work. The other leaks that we have are coming from Tom Henderson over on Twitter. He said there's probably only going to be around 8 maps in the game for 6v6 multiplayer, but there is going to be some sort of variant of Ground War returning with 64 or even more players, so there'll be separate maps just for Ground War. I do think that it is a bit of an issue that they are trying to focus on multiple different modes and larger player count modes, because what it means is there ends up being less 6v6 content. So even though there is actually more content in the game, a lot of people critique Call of Duty as having a lack of content every year. But even in Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare, even though they had larger player count modes with exclusive maps for them, like Fireteam or Ground War, so overall there was more content in the game. It's just that a lot of players seem to only care about 6v6 content. So I think they need to strike the balance where they have enough 6v6 content and also focus on these other modes. And of course, we know that there is going to be a zombies mode in the game as well. I've already talked about. I kind of just want to focus on multiplayer in this video. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that we know on multiplayer prior to these new leaks that I'll go over in a second. In terms of Warzone, we don't really have many details just yet. All that we know is there is apparently going to be a new Pacific Theater Warzone map that's going to be much bigger than Verdansk, so they might increase the player count to even 250 players. For all we know, they could do that. And all of the points of interest for the map have leaks from the files of the game as well that you can see on screen. And according to the Chinese leaker Victor on Twitter, there are going to be some sort of semi-destructible environments coming to Warzone where you might be able to destroy small buildings or shoot holes in walls, more akin to Rainbow Six Siege. The destruction apparently won't be on as large of a scale as games like Battlefield. It'll be a lot more scaled back. And I would like to see that, to be honest. honest. And there has also been different fighter jets and airplanes found in the files of Warzone, so it seems like there are going to be World War II planes coming to Warzone with this new Vanguard map. I can't wait to have dogfights in Warzone, honestly that sounds so cool to me. And I do wonder whether these semi-destructible environments are going to be exclusive to Warzone or whether they are going to be in Vanguard's multiplayer or even the campaign or maybe even zombies. I don't really know how that would work in zombies though, because the engine for Vanguard is apparently going to be the same as Modern Warfare's engine, which is obviously what Warzone runs on as well. So if they are updating Warzone's engine to allow for semi-destructible environments, I'm assuming Vanguard is probably going to have it as well maybe. And I do wonder whether things like fighter jets and stuff like that will also be in Vanguard's multiplayer. I'm sure it'll be in the campaign obviously, but in terms of the multiplayer it might not be in 6v6 but maybe in the larger player count modes like ground war you might be able to have a lot of vehicles and stuff like that. And the Vanguard integration with Warzone is apparently going to be happening in November when Vanguard releases, as opposed to months later like Black Ops Cold War, and all of the weapons and stuff like that will obviously be integrated into the game. They're probably just going to have World War II weapons as ground loot as well, and the integration is apparently going to be a lot more fluid and successful than Black Ops Cold War's integration, since they've apparently had a lot more time to plan for it, and it's a lot less makeshift. Okay, so in terms of the new multiplayer leaks, this is all coming from a guy known as Salvation's Elite, and I will leave a link to his channel down in this video's description. If you guys are unaware, he did leak a load of Black Ops Cold War multiplayer information prior to the alpha of the game, or the beta of the game I believe, and Activision actually striked his video down, completely removed it off of the internet like within the first hour of its release. I remember it was something absolutely crazy because all he had was a face cam in the video. He didn't even show any Call of Duty gameplay or literally any assets from Call of Duty, so it was completely under fair use. Activision had no legal grounds to take it down, but they did anyways. But in terms of this new leak for Vanguard, they haven't taken it down thus far, but I have a summary of what he talked about in his video. So he said the game apparently looks nothing like Call of Duty World War II did, considering it is running on Modern Warfare's engine. He said basically the gunplay and the movement are more similar to Modern Warfare, so I actually really like the gunplay of Modern Warfare. It has the best gunplay of any other Call of Duty. The animations and the recoil and stuff like that, and even the sounds of the weapons punch, they are so hard hitting. I really don't like the movement of Modern Warfare though, so I'm really worried about Vanguard because I hated Modern Warfare's movement, which I'll talk about in a second. But he did say that the UI, the menus, the bright colors are more similar to the graphics of Cold War, which I'm happy about because Modern Warfare's engine allows for more graphical fidelity. But I do prefer Treyarch's art style, so I think the mix of Modern Warfare's engine and Treyarch's art style could be absolutely awesome, because World War II is very depressing, and some may argue, well, it doesn't really truly represent World War II if it's beautiful. But honestly, I think that's what Call of Duty World War II was lacking in. The colors were just way too drab, and although it may have been realistic, it was just kind of depressing to look at for a long period of time, especially since this is a video game after all. It doesn't have to be exactly 100% accurate, especially for zombies. Like the Final Reich was just really ugly at the top of the map at least. Underground it was cool, where you had Barbarossa's sword and stuff like that, but the top of the map, just visually, it just wasn't very appealing, and when you would play zombies for a couple hours at a time, it just wouldn't be very good on your eyes really, and your palette. It would just make you feel a bit rough. Anyways, we have some gun leaks. So he said that apparently for the assault rifles there is going to be the BAR and the STG. Both of those weapons I love, glad to see they are apparently back. For the SMGs we have the Tommy gun and the MP40. Once again some bangers. For the LMGs we have the Becker. He has a question mark next to this, so it might not be an LMG, he might just be misinterpreting this. For the pistols we have the 1911. In terms of the attachments and equipment and stuff like that, he said that red dots are back, even though it's not really realistic, but I guess they had it in Call of Duty World War II as well. There will be stuns, frag grenades, and for perks there will be Engineer, Double Time, Ghost, Tracker, and Forward Intel. He said that field upgrades are back, and the tactical sprint is back. So like I said earlier, I'm not a fan of Modern Warfare's movement. I personally just prefer Treyarch's style of movement where you have unlimited sprint and they have a guns up philosophy, everything just feels really fluid, and Modern Warfare kind of slowed it down where it's a lot more tactical. I mean, it's still very fast paced compared to other first person shooters out there because Call of Duty is an arcade shooter, but Treyarch's games are just a lot more arcadey, and I just hate the tactical sprints because I just find it to be so clunky going from sprint to tactical sprint, and then you run out of sprint, and then you have to do that all over again, and it just feels clunky integrating between them. And I do turn on automatic tactical sprint in the settings, but even then it doesn't really help much. I just really hate Modern Warfare's movement. If you watch anyone play, they are just spamming slide cancel 24/7. Honestly, Cold War's movement just feels a lot more fluid, although it's not perfect. I wish they just gave you an option to just either have Modern Warfare's movement or Cold War's movement. I would choose Cold War's any day, even though I think that Black Ops 3's movement, if they didn't have exosuits, would even be the best style of movement. But yeah, I just really detest the movement in Modern Warfare, especially for zombies. I just don't know how that's going to work because we need unlimited sprint in zombies. We do not need tactical sprint in zombies. That's just going to make the gameplay feel really clunky, so I'm really worried about that. I know a lot of people do love Modern Warfare's movement. I don't know who these people are, but I just personally detest it, so I'm a little bit worried about that. He did say that the Gunsmith is back and there's going to be a lot of attachments again, so you're probably going to be able to combine different attachments together to turn your weapon into another weapon. So there's probably going to be a lot of secret weapons like we had in Modern Warfare. Once again, looking forward to that, and that might be a way for them to introduce weapons that weren't even from the World War II era into the game without it really disrupting the realism. But I guess it doesn't really matter anyways. I don't really care if it's not really realistic. I would much more prefer a sci-fi version of World War II in all honesty. In terms of other details, there's apparently an intensity preference that defines the number of players in a match. I'm not really sure what that's in reference to. There's apparently 8v8 options within public lobbies, so there's probably going to be maps similar to the combined arms maps in Black Ops Cold War where they have a 6v6 version and a slightly larger version as well. And he did confirm that Slipstream is the name of the closed alpha. So yeah, the reveal is going to be happening soon for Vanguard. It's going to be as a live event inside of Warzone. It's going to feature an armored train and stuff like that. There's been various different data mines on Twitter, so it's going to be very, very soon now. It's apparently going to be somewhere within the first half of August, and honestly, I feel like it's going to be happening slightly before the release of Season 5. So I don't think we're that far away now, to be honest. That is if this recent Activision lawsuit doesn't slow anything down. Anyways, that's everything I wanted to go over in today's video. Thank you for watching the video, and make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.